here
Are you live already? God damn.
because I want to make sure I respect everybody's time. And
Okay, okay.
really, it's not really about respecting time. It's about my porn appointment. You said what? Say again.
You cut off this game, though. I ain't gonna be able to concentrate.
Excuse me.
Uh, Sorry, dude. I'm out. What's been up with me? I've been tired, bro. I've been too tired to play video games. Tired, bro.
Join the club.
I got off of work. I'll be out of there, bro.
You see, you be out of there. What do you mean
Like,
out of there?
like,
Because you're definitely at
like
home.
ready to go to sleep. You know what I mean? What's up, there? Um, oh, that's a good question. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll be right back, man.
Hmm. All right, test this shit to see if it works. All right, testing. Are you gonna play it? All right, testing. Yep, we're good. So, welcome, and this is the No Filter Podcast. What we are going to do? What is the avocado for? Anyway, we are going to be talking about two subjects today. Usually, these podcasts is about an hour and a half, depending on how many people are in there. I don't want to kind of like stretch shit out to no end, so I'm gonna be doing something a little different than what I normally would do. Um, for my other podcast days. I want to kind of clean this shit up. So that being said, two topics here. The first topic is going to be about the interview that I'm about to say David Hay, David Jaffe um, had with a former lead producer of Ben Studios. Ben Studios, what's his name? I think John Garbin, something shit. Either way, this is what we're going to actually end up doing. So, what avocado, whatever that piece of fruit is, that's an avocado that you put in there with the face thing. So, essentially, had an interview, found out that the lead producer actually he got fired. I don't, and he got fired because I believe of how he conducted himself. I believe he was just way too like ridiculous and too stressed out and too used to small studio productions. I mean, the more people you throw into the fray, the harder it is going to manage. It's that simple. Um, had a recent incident with another podcast that I'm starting up with a couple other people. But the dude from Days Gone, the giant guy, he was like the lead guy. He ended up getting fired. He had some exchanges that on a smaller scale, like a mom and pop situation, it would have been okay. It would have been okay. Um, but when you're like 150 people in and you're raising your voice, oh, Fuck this shit. I mean, he said you can go look at the David Jaffe podcast. I'm not sure it's the latest one that he's done. That's the one that's like 4 hours long. He's like, fuck this, just give me this, just let me go, just let me go. You know what I mean? Fuck this shit, and ended up getting his wish. No control, from what I understand from the Jeff guy. Um, you had a lot of newcomers that were hired, and they weren't privy to the way that the industry worked. So we're looking at some major, um, just the system shocks in terms of them, which was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. Um, got fired, and he ended up spilling the beans. He spilled the beans as to what happened. There were a lot of accusations that Sony just doesn't want to have little studios anymore. I mean, not well, yeah, like little studios, little projects. And he mentioned something that was very interesting. He mentioned about Disney and Disney not being able to afford having like a small scale situation. I mean, not small scale, but having, how can I put it? Having bad press for their titles and IPs. He mentioned it was more, and if you go on social media and you look at all these news publications, that statement was actually blown out of proportion because he actually mentions, he says, when you have a big company, something like Disney, the most important thing is reception. You do not want to make something small. I mean, hold on. That's why you teach, but you ran out like a bitch. Yeah, he ended, and I said that last podcast. I didn't really appreciate that. I feel like that was real pussy of him. I mean, but also on the set, on he's 61 years old. I think he was just done with it. He was just done with it. He's an old dog. He doesn't feel like learning new tricks. He doesn't feel like when you get older, you lose, you really lose patience. And I'm starting to really
Facts,
understand that
facts.
shit as well. Hello?
Yeah, that's big facts. You get me?
Oh, I didn't even know you were
No,
in here. I thought you were still going.
no. I was here. I was just, letting you do your thing, your spill. What's good with you, man?
Oh yeah, I would have asked you what you were playing, but yeah, like the thing is, as you get older, you just lose patience, flat out. You just do. So anyway, well, who do we have here is magnificent black.
Is it majestic?
I don't know why I keep
You know,
wanting to
what's good,
say that
everybody?
shit. That shit is mad difficult for me to say. What's going on with you, majestic?
I'm
Majestic.
chilling, bro,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Lot of life
Magnificent
shit this week,
black.
man. No real gaming, but I did come across Steam got some pretty good sales going on for Capcom right now. If anybody's interested,
Okay.
on the PC side of things, Capcom dev related everything everything on the dev side for Capcom is like super cheap right now.
I don't get it.
I picked up Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 are like under $20, like $15 for Resident Evil 2 the remake, and then number three it's like $20. Pretty good sales, man. Capcom related. So
Hmm.
yeah, man. I fucks with Capcom, man. Go pick that up if you're on PC.
I'm kind of mad a
So,
little bit about. I don't mean disappointed with the Capcom showing of Resident Evil. Was it 8?
Resident Evil 8. Oh, you didn't like it? You didn't like what you saw?
No, like graphic wise, I could see cross gen
Hmm.
all through that bitch, and
I
that's my
mean, did you play the demo like live at your crib? Like,
the
did you
last
play that
demo.
demo?
The last demo when you were like it was in
Yeah,
first person. I didn't like it there
yeah.
either.
You didn't like the way it looked?
That
'Cause I
one,
thought
they only
I
had
thought they
one
did
room
good
that
for
looked. They only
cross
had
gen.
one room that looked decent. Really,
Which one? The room with the
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 fucking
markings on the
chandelier.
wall?
The fucking chandelier.
You didn't like the joint where it had like the engravings in the wall? I believe it was.
I ain't gonna lie to
It
you.
had
I
like
didn't even get
the
that far,
water.
man. I was like, I don't got time for this fucking PT wannabe. I'm sorry. Anything
I
that
mean, it's a
anything.
short demo. It's literally like 45 minutes long.
No,
You
I
must not
know,
like
I
it at
know,
all.
but anything that it's not about that. It's anything that tries to mimic, um, anything that tries to mimic, what do you call that shit again? PT,
PT.
man. I feel,
Hmm.
I feel some kind of way. I'm not, no cap with that. You know, what I mean, just keep that shit in third person. Do your normal Resident Evil bit. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Wait,
Hmm.
it would be great to invest in Capcom or wait, go. I don't know about them. I think they're consistent. I don't think anything is going to happen in terms of investing stocks. You
Misogynistic black.
you want to have stocks. I mean, you want to pick stocks that are like are going like they're not doing so well, and you kind of want to have the foresight to say, okay, they may improve in the future. So you want to buy when it's low, and then sell when it's high. But anyway, I ain't no fucking broker. We ain't doing no broker shit today. But either way, so going back to the situation, have you been playing? You said that you barely could play any games, and that's the same thing with me. I can't even. I'm so tired lately.
Yeah.
I took a long, thick ass nap
Yeah, I slept all day till 5, bro. I woke up at 5
right
o'clock.
before this
Yeah.
before this podcast started. It was a thick ass nap, man, thick. Cause bro, like I got sleep, did what I needed to do, and I was still fucking tired. I did wash my clothes, but that's for some reason
Mhm.
that sucks the energy out of me. I don't. I mean, it's real tiring.
Oh, what is my guy doing? Oh shit.
What you talking about?
That gameplay, he had like a deep tea bag, bro. I've never seen a tea bag so deep. That's your king blade, man? God damn.
Well,
Oh man, my bad, bro.
infiltrating our culture, I guess, right?
Hey, my guy did a deep tea bag. He was straight involved. My bad, bro. But yeah, yeah, I feel you, man. I've been like super tired. And I got think I beat well, you was on the stream when I beat it. I beat Ratchet and Clank, but that's about it. I
I
didn't really
feel
get
like
to
I don't
play
know why I got like a huge hole in my memory for Ratchet and Clank. I know I have beat it
that.
before, but I don't remember a lot of the
Yeah,
shit at the end, and that's weird for me. I must have
yeah.
been like fucking. I don't know. Anyway, me personally, I've been doing my thing. Um, I've been streaming me making beats to keep me. It's not about publicity or anything like that. It keeps me on schedule and regimented.
Mhm,
Because if I don't find something to put me on schedule for making beats and music, I won't do
mhm.
it. I just won't. And that
Yeah,
shit pisses me off. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. Like if I have huge hiatus times, it just fucks everything up. But that's what I've been doing lately.
right.
Um, we're going to talk about Miles Morales too, as a side note regarding what's going on with that one. But going back to the sales versus scores. Now, if you've seen online, there are a lot of publications and a lot of like reportings about the dude from Days Gone Studio, Ben Studios, stated that Sony cares more about their review scores than the actual sales of the game, and that was grossly taken out of context.
Hmm.
Like it was super bad. The context that was blown out. He didn't even mention Sony when he stated that. He didn't mention it at all. To be clear, right? What he did mention is that Disney. You look at a
So what?
company. He says this. He says this. He says you look at a company like Disney, right? And to Disney, because they have such a pedigree, it would be more important for their game to score well than it to make a lot of money. You look at that. You can look at what do you call that again? Um, Captain Marvel. That sold 1 billion, right?
Hmm.
But it tarnished the Disney IPs because of all the shit that they put in there. And you would think that they would double down on reversing course, but nope. Nope, they didn't reverse course at all. They're still doing this, social justice warrior bullshit. I showed you the clip on Twitter, right? With the Falcon dude, right?
Yeah, yeah, I saw it.
Ain't that a
I saw
bitch?
it. I mean, these are like vertical slices. Like, I actually like the show. I was looking at, I saw everything but that one episode you tweeted. But
But
like overall, the show been good. Like that one thing where they showed the other before you had a clip where they were talking about the police officer
hmm
interacting, and it wasn't that bad as they made it seem out to be. Or it's talking about
no,
all the
it's
people
not
going
about it
out.
being. It's not
It
about it
wasn't
being
that bad at
bad.
all.
It's like why
Yeah.
in the universe. of the Avengers,
Hmm.
that is something that they're not in our same universe.
Yeah, but they've touched on it before, even in Captain America comic books. Like with they get political.
No, and
They get political
I'm
all the
not
time.
saying that they don't get political, right?
Hmm.
But here's the thing. I was thinking about this, and this is going to kind of go completely sidetrack. I
Hmm.
had a conversation with a customer at my job, and sometimes we get into this. You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck it takes to get a sale, right? But she brings up a curious question. She says, "Why don't they mention all the injustices?" You know what I'm saying? Why do they pick and choose certain injustice? You know,
Hmm.
and she was referring to uh, a guy that got shot, a black guy that got shot, but it was also a white guy that got shot too, and
Hmm.
terribly. So, like he got lit up, not just like bam once. They lit his ass up, and he was just getting some ice, I believe, for his cousin or brother or some shit like that. I can't remember the story, but the news didn't report it. And I told her, I said, well, the reason why is because it's not as sexy as a topic. It's
Hmm.
not. It's not. What you have is the news looking for anything for people to click onto their shit. Essentially, that's the problem. When you get stuff like this, the reason why people groan and moan and roll their eyes is because it's like we already have enough of this shit right now. That's not highlighting it. We all know that there's a problem. The consistent highlighting of this is the problem because you just do nothing but bring more hate to it. We already know it existed and we know that it exists, but there's much more going on to it. You know what I mean? The problem here is that they keep putting it into shows. People look at these shows as an escape. You know what I'm saying? And in regarding the comic books for like Captain America, that was based off of Nazis. Anyway,
Right. All of these comics, they're basically based off of the era that they're published in. Like you'll see, like some people will mention that Professor X and Magneto, for example,
it's the
are
'60s.
like based off of they're based off of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Two different ways. They're all trying to get to the end goal, but they're going about it different ways.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's going to be the product of its time, and really nothing new. Everybody's going to be sensitive about it, but at the end of the day, it's just it's going to always it's been happening and it's going to keep happening. They're
Because
gonna they're gonna go based off of the current events.
we keep doing
Right.
the same shit over and over. We keep falling to the we keep. This is why it's always good to know your history, because if you try to erase history like we're doing now, because somebody feel uncomfortable about mentioning the shit, is we're once you erase it, we're doomed to do it again. We're creatures of habit. Things happen in cycles and stuff like that. And I personally believe that there's more to it than just talking about it because
Right.
you want to talk about it. Right now, you can get your instant gratification whether you're a company or a person via social media.
What's up, man?
Oh
My
yeah,
bad
what's
for
Here.
going
being
on,
late.
man? No, you
What's
good,
up,
you
Killer?
good. We were actually talking about no, actually, hold on. Let me put a pause on that. What's going on, Tay, man? What you been up to?
Chilling, man, chilling. Fucking just got to fucking work. The paperwork for this load that I'm supposed to be on still ain't fucking ready. These motherfuckers been fucking up.
The COVID.
They
That's
work
the
in the
cop out right
warehouse.
there. That's the cop out right there. Hold
Goddamn
Every time a
COVID
customer talk
hell.
about
Go
they
to.
talk about their bill, my bill is too high. Well, COVID. Oh, you right. She be like you
How you
right,
do
you
it, bro?
right. So you better get used to it. This shit's gonna go crazy. What you been doing lately, man? Besides working.
Just trying to finish up that fucking Outriders.
You know what I thought to myself, Tay.
What's up?
I don't have you on PSN, do I?
No.
I don't
I could
think
have
I
sworn
do.
we added it. I think everybody added night.
Not that I'm aware of.
Your name the same. Your name the same on PSN, right?
What? You talking about music and games? No. Mm-mm. I'll talk to you about that after that. What we're going to try to do is kind of get in and out with these subjects, okay? So I want to respect
All right.
everybody's time and shit like that. I'm not rushing anybody, but I know I'm a talkative ass nigga, so I want to really do better. I want to be better, you know? So, um, so what we're talking about is sales versus scores. And an interesting interview has come up with the co-creator of Ben Studios. It
Okay,
just
yeah.
yeah, the John, what is it, John Gavin? He was fired actually, but he was fired not because of Days Gone, because he was fired kind of during the process of Days Gone, towards the end, like when it released, and he left like what 6 days after the release.
Yeah.
Now he did spill the beans as to how he was kind of volatile, to be honest. You know, he
You
was
talking about when he did it with? Did he do it with David Jack? You talking about the one that
the
did it
one
with
with
David
David
Jaffe,
Jaffe.
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his name like Jeff something
No, it was two of
something
them.
Jeff.
It was Jeff Ross. He did that one. Jeff quit on his
Yeah.
own a year later. But
Hmm.
the John Gavin, he quit like 6 days after the release of Days Gone. And one of
Oh, I
his
missed
it
it, John Gavin.
yeah, it was you can find it now. It's 4 hours, but he talks like me. He got that old person talk, where they just keep
Yeah.
running their fucking mouth, man. This dude talks a lot. So I will say the two old men, you know what I'm saying? I will say this, right? What the fuck is the problem? So when you have a small studio, I think they said it was about 50 people for Ben Studios, right? And in order
Yeah.
for them to actually make this game work, is that they had to hire 3 times as much people. Well, I don't know what the fucking math is. All I know is it ended up with 150 people that they hired. Jeff Ross
Yeah. At the
stated
end.
that they hired a whole bunch of millennials that believe in this whole luxurious idea of, you know, um, this whole luxurious
I'm
idea of being a what do you call it, a
I,
developer.
I'm doing all this work. I need more money.
Well, it ain't even just that. It's not even just that. They went in there and thought they were going to be millionaires off the rip because they think that developers make mad money and they don't. It is a regular job,
Yeah.
and it is one job out of many. You're not going to get $1 million work if you're just animating fingers and legs all day. You know, it doesn't that
And
doesn't
then,
equate to it.
and then they won't see that type of pay unless they've been in the industry for fucking years.
And that's
Yeah,
what.
that studio hasn't been really doing that great either. So like
No,
this is like their
Yeah.
breakout
they wasn't
title.
doing bad. It just
I'm
they were
saying is
small.
that's their breakout title. They haven't had like a
Oh,
breakout
right, right,
title in a
right.
long time.
Okay, okay,
So you
okay.
can't expect that. You gotta wait for bonuses and shit like that. That's when you start making
Yeah.
millions and millions and
And
shit.
that's what he was trying to mention to these newcomers. He was like, so Jeff was like, yo, these bitches complain about every fucking thing. And then,
Right.
Yeah.
David was like, well, about what? No, everything. I literally mean everything. And it
Hmm.
goes into the culture. We were just talking about just the culture of things, right? And
Yeah.
how it's going to be dangerous when they start focusing on, they focus too much on reviews. And what they did on social media, right, is all these like news places and reporters, right, stated that the ex Sony guy said that they said that review scores are the most important thing other than the sales, right? So I go on to Captain Marvel. He mentions the John Gavin dude. He never mentioned Sony. He just gave an example. He says that when you're as big as something like Disney, right,
Mhm.
reception is better than the sales themselves. And what I ended up saying is that when Captain Marvel was doing all the stupid fucking, feminist movement shit, yeah, it sold $1 billion, but it tarnished the actual brand of Disney. You know what I'm saying? When they kind of move away from the SJW shit is when they start rising up. Even with Star Wars, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
the winners the fucking Falcon Soldier thing, it was didn't do that great originally comparatively to WandaVision. And when they came out the gate, they started talking about political things. Now, Magnificent was talking about all these comics and stuff like that had they're a product of their time. And I was saying it's disingenuous what they're doing because you can get your instant edification with social media. I don't think that they're doing it like back in the day when they were talking about Nazis and stuff. These people cared about that. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
weren't doing it for like a social media statement. They were doing it because it was affecting them. When
Mm-hmm.
X-Men in the '60s and mutant people was like, damn, I really feel like they're like they're mutated people. How they acting? You know what I'm saying? When Marvel made X-Men, they're treating them like an illness. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see them as an illness. And so they kind of made that story into something more consumable, which was powers and stuff like that. But the point when you start to run your psychoanalytics to the shit, it remains the same. It's prejudice. You know what I mean? This what we're doing in this generation is trying to acquire brownie points. That's the difference. They're throwing people into roles where they don't belong. They just said, what's that dude's name? That Alba dude, the black dude?
Idris, yep,
Idris
Idris
Alba.
Elba.
They were like, oh, they literally said that this black chick. It's always chicks doing that. Do you ever notice that? They always have running their mouth on some shit. I'm sorry. They are. I don't really hear.
Females are the loudest.
There's always these feminists that always saying shit.
Yeah.
She said that Eldris Alba, whatever the fuck his name is not black enough for his black role. She said that I feel like it's
What?
She said
Because
that.
he's British?
She said that I feel like she was like he doesn't eat Caribbean food. He doesn't have any black friends. She was like, I feel like that's not accurate. That's the bullshit I'm talking about.
That's the re-
I couldn't
that's
believe it either.
retarded as fuck.
And she said that on Twitter, like, or she vocally, she didn't say it behind the scenes, and it was hearsay, and you can find it. And people are like, what the fuck is she talking about? You do realize there's many different types of black fucking people.
But hold up, why did what made her
The Lex Luthor,
say
the
that?
Lex Luthor thing, or something of that nature. I forgot what show he was doing. Something of that nature.
I know he's the new Deadshot in the new Suicide Squad.
So she mentions it was one of the roles that he plays. She said that because he's not the typical black dude, she feel like it's not accurate. He doesn't eat Caribbean food. What the fuck are you? I don't eat.
He said, I don't eat Caribbean food.
I'm not. Caribbean people are not black either. Not in an African sense. All right. So we're not doing this, but that's
Yeah,
my point.
let's not go down this lane because I'm about to disagree with you.
What you mean?
Let's keep it moving. I know what you mean, but I just
We all come from the thing. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. I
Yeah.
feel you.
I know. I know you're going to say that, but what I mean is the culture.
You said from the thing.
I said
The
everything
thing.
else. The African continent. So yes, we all come from there, and there are some, Caribbean people and some.
It's just culture differences. I
It's
know
a
what you
culture. It's massive culture differences, and they were like, "I'm not black."
Yeah.
Yes, the fuck you are. Yes, I know, Larry. But the problem here is that there's many different types of black people. I should be more. I should do better when I explain my shit, right?
mean.
Because I already, we've been now. I need to speak better than that. But yeah, the problem here is that these people, including Disney, are going after like they're doing brownie points. They're not doing it because it's a product of their time. I would say alone, they're doing this shit for brownie points.
Mhm.
That's the
A lot of them
problem.
trying to be
They're trying to get those. They're trying to get those
followers.
social Disney those social dollars. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's
man. I mean, I could definitely see that.
That's the
I
problem.
could
Like if you
agree with that.
if you have some issues, right, and you want to talk about it and you want to turn that into a thing, okay. Like people got mad at Days Gone because there was no black people in the game like that, and I'm like, it's in Oregon. It's no black people. And then John Gavin was like, bro, I'm not gonna make a character about I'm not gonna create a character that I don't know too much about. I don't know too much about, I'm only it's only due to my experiences. That's what I'm talking about. My story, I'm creating it based on my experiences.
I
I
can respect that.
and
Yeah,
he
I
said
can
that shit
respect that.
flat out, and I respect the hell out of that.
I can respect that, bro. Mm,
Yeah.
I'm all
ain't no
around.
problem.
I'm nothing
But at
but
the
white
same time,
people.
I respect it. But at the same time, like I told you, I wasn't interested in the game because it just didn't. I just didn't jive with the game, whatever it was. But I played the beginning of it. And I saw some things that was cool about it, but it just didn't keep me.
But
But
guess what?
it's
Though,
cool, and
because
that's
it's
fine. Yeah,
because again, there's a cultural difference with the game
right,
and
right.
you.
That might be a part of it. I don't know if that was a part of it, but
I don't like
just
cowboy
like
games. I don't like cowboy games.
facts, facts. That's cool though. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like they're
can't
made for
relate to
people
it.
who
And
like cowboys, huh? You
I
know what
could
I'm saying?
tell if it's
Right.
quality. I'll yeah, if it's quality for sure. Problem
Hmm.
is that I don't understand it enough, and nor do I don't get it. I don't get the being redneck and shit like that. The reason why I like Days Gone is not because of because I didn't jive with the characters that much either, except for Ricky. She can get it, but the whole rest
Yeah.
of the whole rest of she was throwing that pussy all
Yeah. She
throughout
was
that
about
game,
it.
yo.
Even though she was a dyke.
She's not a
Hell
dyke.
no.
She's not a dyke. She's bisexual. She was like Deacon. I'm just saying. I need to take off these
These
panties,
cheeks,
man. This
these
shit is
cheeks
getting
are
moist
ready.
right now. She was like, these shits are
The,
getting
the,
moist.
Damn,
Deacon
y'all
was
make me want
like,
to play the game, bro.
Deacon
Shit.
was like, no, for
I'm gonna
real.
have to, I'm
Deacon
gonna
was
have to
like,
revisit that.
Deacon was like, he was like, I have a wife. She was like, but Deacon, she dead though.
Hey,
I
that
feel that
bitch
she's
dead.
alive
I'm
somewhere,
live.
huh?
I'm live right here.
She was like, I'm alive and I'm warm and my pussy warm. You sure? He
And
like,
I got and
Damn.
and I got a female partner, so
that
you can get this three-way one time.
you may
Oh shit.
listen. You may want the chocolate persuasion. He was like, I got a wife. I know she's alive. I can smell her pussy, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's how that
like
game went.
ew,
Ew, bitch.
ew. You can smell it. Ew.
When
You
the
don't want that.
when the wind blows, when the wind blows southwest, I smell the pussy. No,
I know she's somewhere. I know she's somewhere northwest,
yo, tell me,
and I
yo,
need to go that
Tay,
way.
you know that black dude was knocking them walls down.
Oh yeah. I think the whole camp done ran through the walls.
God damn.
Yo, she came over there. She was not fucking with Deacon. She was like, "Damn, let
Hell
me just
yeah.
pick up this."
Like,
I
oh
mean, I
shit.
get it. She was like, "I get it. I mean, that's romantic and shit." But this nigga had a BBC. One of the only
Hmm?
black niggas in Oregon. But anyway, anyway, um, but yeah, that is like legit. I'm exaggerating it, but that is a part of the story though, like for real. But um, that was the problem. Um, he mentions that he says, "Yo, on some real shit, I'm gonna say this." He says, "Yo, I'm only gonna make shit about what I know. I'm not gonna just force characters in there as a checklist like
Right.
some other developers." Nice to us. But and then that's one of the issues that I have with these games. It doesn't feel organic. It wouldn't make sense to have a whole bunch of black people in Oregon when that's not the case in reality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but he says this. He says, going back on topic, he says, listen, um, on some real shit. So, as a big company, you don't want anything tarnishing your name, especially when you build your reputation on having crazy quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say about that? You agree with him? Disagree?
I agree with him.
Yeah, I agree with them as well. It makes sense, man. Like we talk about games that are like that seem fake. You know what I'm saying? They come from a place where like we were just talking about we were just talking about the Falcon and Winter Soldier about that scene where there's like it feels like it's not authentic. You know what I'm saying? That's arguable, of course, but you know what I'm saying? Like when it's done wrong and he didn't want to he like he even said I saw a part of the interview. He said I wasn't even thinking about that. He said I was just making my story. I wasn't thinking about inclusion and all this other shit. He was just I was just making my story. And it just happened to be that this is my story and it has it's about a white biker and his friends. You know what I'm saying? And the people around him. You know what I'm
And
saying? And this is news to me that there's even a black person in there. Like I said, I didn't play the game like that, but It looks like it wasn't really a factor for him. He was just making the game that he wanted to make. You know, there's
He
nothing
actually
wrong with
wanted.
that.
He actually goes in on Oregon. He says one of the racist states in the United States. He was
Facts.
like, there was a curfew for black people for a while. You cannot be out past 8 or you'll get lynched. He said that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a racist fucking state. It wouldn't make any kind of logistical sense to throw some black people in there just to check a box. And
Yeah, man.
that's the problem. Now, here's where the danger comes in. If you so want your product to sell and you got a relatively good quality product, but if you want to push it over the edge, do you pay the reviewers to give it a good score?
If you're Microsoft, yeah.
I think Sony done it too. No, I
I
think
mean,
Sony. I
EA,
think
all
Sony did it too. I think Sony was paying people. See, at least you can kind of blend this shit in if the game has
hmm
a certain quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can blend all that shit in. To me, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's good that Miles Morales is selling. It's good, but I feel like that story is a little bit less authentic. You know what I mean? There was a lot of little things in Miles Morales I wasn't liking, and I think I said this a couple podcasts ago. The whole situation with the Black Lives Matter shit there,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, they're not even in our universe for one, for that to be a thing, if you want to call it that. Number two, the fucking the cop shooting a black guy. You know what I mean? And they're talking about some. What are you doing with that young kid? Making demonizing cops. We need cops. I understand that there's some bad apples, but we need cops. Can't defund the police because if a motherfucker runs into the fucking FedEx and starts shooting people to fuck up, who you gonna call?
Ghostbuster.
hmm
Let me stop. But I mean, I'm being honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they did that, and then the fucking who is he? Who is he? He's our Spider-Man. I said, oh fuck. All right.
Yeah, that was the only line I disagreed with through the
I
whole
said,
shit. I
I
was like,
said, all
bruh,
right, dude.
who wrote this shit?
Who
He's
did
our
that?
Spider Man. That was
Now,
like a '90s line, bruh. Like something you would tell, like a '90s
I will
movie.
say this. I will say this. The Spider-Man that Sam Raimi made, that was cheesy as hell, but it was so deliberately cheesy. We'll meet again, Spider-Man. I was like, this
You know
dude
what I
is
mean?
so. I loved it because that's how it was in the cartoon. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
But that nigga was speaking facts. Fucking Osborn was speaking facts on facts on facts. He was like, "You think she care about you? She care about your fucking money. Do what you need to do with her and broom her quick." I was like, "Damn!"
Fact.
I had to
That
look at the.
nigga's tricky fact for real.
I looked at the fucking jewel case. Like, is this rated T? What is this? So he was mad, and she did care about the money. She was, "Oh, Harry, Peter ain't giving me attention. Please, please, Harry." Oh boy. Anyway, did she not do that? She didn't. She didn't go to Harry.
Yeah, but she was just feeling neglected, bruh. She was
I
looking
don't
for
give a
no
fuck.
money,
I don't give a fuck.
bruh.
She would feel neglected. Open your mouth, talk, bitch. You need help? You wanted to? Why don't you say something? She through the whole fucking series, she wanted Peter to read her mind. You just don't get it. They fired me, bitch, because you can't sing. That's why.
Facts.
What do you want me to do about it? I mean, you're okay, but they fire you legitimately. If you was good, like me, then it's a different story. She's like, you just don't get it, Peter. Peter, are you gonna pick me? Or are you gonna pick saving people's lives? That's how ridiculous it sounded to me. Anyway, but that's the problem, though. The problem here is, who do you like? Wouldn't that kind of wouldn't that fuck things up if you could pay your reviewers to make it look like you're doing good? You know what I'm saying? If it was
I
that
mean,
important.
when you provide review copies, ain't you like kind of giving them some like that's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they're getting free copies of the game, they're not required to do that. That's kind of like a bribe in its own. You know what I'm saying? Like if they really want to, I respect the reviewers who actually go out and buy their copies of the game or say that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's highly commendable. He said, "Oh yeah, I went out and bought my copy. Yeah, my shit, my fucking review didn't come out until 2, 3 weeks after the game released. But I bought my copy, and this is what I think about the game when I spent my money
Nah,
for it.
I
That's a
wouldn't
real review to
necessarily.
me.
I wouldn't necessarily condemn the people that do get copies because there's reviewers that I watch that actually still put out the brutal honest about a fucking game.
Guess what,
Fact,
Tay?
fact.
If
Guess
you
Not
what,
all of
like,
them.
Tay?
Yeah, of course. I'm
Guess
not gonna.
what?
I'm
Guess
not,
what,
talking
Tay?
about
They
all
will
of them.
not ever get another review copy again.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, they do. Cause Joe, only people Joe don't get a review copy from is I think Ubisoft and EA.
yeah. EA don't fuck with them.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
but
think
he
and
Microsoft
review,
stopped
then
fucking with them
and
too, right?
then
but he reviews. Yeah,
but
they
then
did. But he reviews
yeah,
games mad late though. He reviews games like fucking
Yeah,
6 months
that's why I
well
later.
like it.
yeah,
He
yeah,
does
cause
that shit when
he
he's
do a
ready.
lot of when yeah, you look at his production, do his they they take a while. So
Hmm.
he do late, but he do still give his to be honest like Outriders. When he went to go play it, they flew him out to play it, right?
He
Hmm.
got flued
And he
out.
loved it then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
he got
flew him
flown
out.
out to play it.
Y'all didn't
Yep.
catch that.
So
Y'all didn't catch that.
This nigga here.
You know
look,
damn
they
well
flew
that's
him
not a
out to
fucking
play it,
word.
right?
That shit. That lady got. That lady had me dying. She said, "Come over here and get flued out." I said, "Flued out." Hmm. All right, go on. Tell him.
They flew him out to play it, right? And he enjoyed what he played. So happy about it, he couldn't wait for the game to come out. And then when the game come out, it was still the brutally honest truth after he did a review. If you watch his review that he did a couple of weeks ago, after the first week, after Outriders came back, you can see he got a lot of problems, especially on PC.
I can't fuck with him in his reviews.
And then the dude Black Okage, uh, formerly known as Modern War Negro, he always get flown out. Like every major fucking gaming company besides EA, he get flown out. Him and his crew, they get flown out to games, and then when they actually review them, they give they brutally honest, especially if the game is bad.
That's facts.
So I mean, there's reviewers out there that keep it
If
real
you big
the
enough,
whole
if you
time.
big, you know what? If you're big enough, then it probably won't work. You know the bribery, but it can't explain
Yeah,
Cyberpunk though. Cyberpunk, they gave the reviews and everything, and that's part of the reason
yeah,
why that game sold what it sold because of the lies that these reviewers were giving out. One of the best games I ever
yeah,
played in my life, and that was not the case. Clearly, you was paid off. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I guess it does work if you have a lot of pedigree. But he also stated that the reason why the reviews are important is because it kind of gauges the amount of money they can put forth towards a title. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But Sony is always going to pay a certain amount of money for, or put forth a certain amount of money for a title. You know what I'm saying? So it's like hand in hand. I really don't. I hope that's not what Sony is doing, because that leads me into my next semi-topic. So, how do you feel? And I know Tay is going to have some interesting shit to say, even though he keep breaking up and shit. How do you feel about Miles Morales, the glorified DLC? Why is it always that guys getting flued out? I
yeah.
disagree. That has to be at least one or two black folks in Oregon. I'm sorry. Let me see here. Tay, okay, my bad. I can't
Yeah, they
see
all
this
make
far,
it into the
man.
game somehow.
Yo, you
Yeah.
gotta put
Yo,
emojis so I can see the shit in the
I
top.
used it in the right way.
No, I'm the one that they use. Niggas getting flued out. That shit sounds faster, yo, doesn't it? Damn, that shit sound like Priority
Yeah.
Express and shit. Damn, I gotta go somewhere. I got an appointment. I need to get flued out. They be like, damn, slow down,
Past
nigga.
tense. Fluid.
That's a
God
little bit
damn.
too fast.
You
You
move
get
too
an
fast,
appointment
yo.
for
You
that?
don't need to go that damn fast.
Jesus.
Shit. Come on, man. I'm gonna tell yo. I gotta go. I'm trying to get flued out.
Oh man. I can't really. Well for Miles Morales, I still haven't dived in on it yet. I think after I beat this fucking. Matter of fact, after I beat this fucking, I should be close to the end. After I beat this fucking Outrider, I'm gonna dive into that bit.
He's gonna get a spoonful of liquor and he gonna dive in. You remember that song? That
You
shit was hot.
goddamn right. You goddamn
Spoonful of
right.
liquor and you're diving. I don't think he said that. I think I just heard that and wanted it to be that way. But no, I'm talking about Miles Morales outselling fucking Ghost of Tsushima in the U.S. by the way, and The Last of Us. What do you got to say about that? Because
Well, I knew it was gonna. I
I
knew it
know
was gonna
Larry
sell
got
the
something
last.
to say about that.
I knew it
Magnificent
was
got
gonna
something to
outsell the
say.
Last of Us. The
Huh?
Last of Us
Nah,
ain't
it's
went
not.
past 4.6 million.
Say again?
So I mean, The Last of Us 2 didn't go past 4.6 million. So we know
No,
it
we
was
talking
gonna
about just the
outsell
U.
that.
We talking about just the U.S. The implications was absolutely delicious.
So
Absolutely
I mean,
delicious.
wait now. When that 4.6 million from the U.S. only for 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 The Last of Us,
I don't know.
because them the only numbers we got, and I'm pretty sure
But
that was
let's
a
just say
that
I
was a
think it's
I,
so. I think it was like 3 or 4 million in the U.S. because that was MPDs. Even if, even if there's some delicious implications here.
it was bound to happen. Ghost of
Everybody
Hey,
kept.
so
Tsushima, I'm kind of surprised. Kind of surprised
Why you
that it
surprised? Why you
outsold.
surprised? Talk to me, Jazz Man.
Uh, I
Testify.
mean, I mean, I knew it was going to be a fight because it is Spider-Man, and it's a lot of fucking out of the closet now Spider-Man fans. Now that we finally got a good Spider-Man,
It's our Spider Man, right?
and then yeah, and then that. So I knew it was going to be a fight. I was surprised that it would outsell Ghost of Tsushima, like collectively in the. That was crazy.
Well, it was going to sell Ghost of Tsushima because of the type of game that it is, right? It's
I
still
mean,
do I?
I'm
It's
not
still,
shocked at all, bro.
huh?
I mean, they said the game got like a 90% attach rate for PlayStation 5, dog. And there ain't a lot of PlayStation 5s out there.
About
The more
5 million.
PlayStation 5s get out there, you're gonna see more copies of it. And I'm
And then you
shocked that
got
it's not one for one. That was the
but
game to
but
have.
but look though,
Hmm.
yeah, because it was a lot of bumbles out there with Spider-Man. I
Yeah.
myself deleted my Amazon fucking PlayStation because they kept fucking with me on the fucking delivery date and got
Hmm.
my fucking bundle that came with the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man
Facts.
and an extra. So uh, if it was just the number of people that if it just came out and it was just the game itself without having the attachment rate of fucking PlayStation with it,
Hmm.
I think it would have been a difference.
Well, don't forget it is cross gen, so there are some PS4s that it's selling on.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true. That's true.
So that's part of that's another implication because everybody's like, why
I forgot about that too. Yeah, I forgot about that too.
why you not releasing it only?
That's why. That's what. Oh, yeah, you know what? That's now that I think about it, that would made me feel like it was just fucking DLC.
It I played the other Spider-Man. He web slings slower for sure.
Yeah,
Actual Peter Parker. He has more
yeah,
health. Um, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, ultimately, it's very similar. They
yeah,
haven't fixed the stealth elements in the game. You don't even need really the stealth elements. You know what I'm saying? It's really just a flashy
yeah,
game, and its combo system is very rudimentary, but it's flashy. You know what I'm saying? It's the equivalent of God of War One on PS1 or PS2 rather. So it's not that much depth in terms of what you can do. I guess if you want to call it, if you want to juggle characters, I guess because there ain't no combos like that in Devil May Cry. Correct me if I'm wrong, Larry. Is there?
What? Devil May Cry?
and
That's the
Devil May
ultimate
Cry got a
combo
you
game.
can come. Yeah, you can fucking
That
switch
there's
weapons
no
on the
game that has
fly and in
better
the middle
combos than
of
Devil
them.
May
Yeah.
Cry.
Well, here, well, wait. Let me let
Uh,
wait. Hold on.
I
You
wouldn't
play.
say I
Ah,
know
Hold on.
bro,
that.
Wait.
that is the
Pause.
combo game,
Pause.
bro.
When you play fight, when you play fighting games, right?
Right.
There's
Yeah,
low, neutrals, and then you got highs and overheads. That's what I mean by that. I don't think it's
Okay,
dead.
that's what you're saying.
yeah.
If you're talking about keeping a nigga up in the air and shit like that, and how long you can do it, that's not the combos I'm referring to. But
Okay,
That's a
good.
juggler. That's a juggler.
then I guess Devil May Cry is a juggler, and so is Spider Man.
Yeah.
I guess if you look at it like that, you can have some fun with it. To keep enemies up in the air and shit. I guess that's its own little nook that it carves in. So I guess you can call it that. But be that as it may, um, what about you? Magnificent. You know, to me personally, it kind of shows that The Last of Us didn't sell that much as people
I
thought it
think
would.
it's. I don't think that because it's surpassed The Last of Us, it means that it didn't sell well. I just think Spider Man's doing very, very good, bro. I mean, why automatically gotta mean that that it didn't sell that well?
Because I don't like The
It
Last of
could,
Us.
it could, it could mean that, but at the same time, it could mean that Spider Man's just fucking doing awesome, dog.
Why?
Which I
Why?
think,
Why? Look, you remember
in
when
my
they
opinion,
first?
that's
You
what
remember when
it
it
is.
first came out?
We don't have the numbers, so
You remember when it first
yeah,
came out? Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it did. It couldn't even do 30% of the original Spider-Man 2018 or whatever the fuck it came
yeah,
out."
yeah. I remember that shit. And I was like, man, niggas is waiting to buy that shit on PlayStation 5. I was saying that shit the whole time, bro. I wouldn't have played that shit on PlayStation 4. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, the hardcore gamers. I don't know about the like. People think casuals just buy anything, bro. That's just not true,
They
bro. The
definitely don't.
motherfuckers,
You
people
gotta
smart
you
with their
gotta
money,
look
man.
good, and
It
that's the
ain't back in the days. There's too much information available online, bro. You know what I'm saying? So consumers aren't stupid for the most part, man. You got tools to find out about the product that you want. You know
and
what I'm
that's the
saying? There's
thing too.
reviews
You
and
wanna know
everything
you wanna know
about
something crazy? They ultimately was like, all right, this is what the John dude says. He ultimately stated he was like, listen, um, you gotta make a good product. If you want a sequel to things, this is what he said. And he hasn't been with Ben Studios six, after the 6 days that it was released. So it wasn't like he has any inside knowledge. But he says this: if you want a game to sell, buy that shit, or want a sequel, buy that shit at full price. If you
it.
about it, you know what I mean? And that because David Jaffe kept pushing this fucking this Game Pass shit all day every day, yo. That shit's mad annoying, low key.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah, he,
dude, just because your game they're calling our cars and the fucking what's the other shit that he did? The Drawing of Death. They're small
Yeah.
games, man. They don't sell consoles. And Sony is not saying that we don't want to do those games anymore because he was kind of alluding to that too. But they don't sell consoles. Nobody's gonna buy a $500 console to play Drawing to Death or Calling Our Cars. That's not what we buy. What's the point of why even go to the next system then if that's the case? You know what I mean? What's the point of it? We want to have new experiences and shit like that and stuff that use the hardware. And to your point, Larry, that's why they fucking made. That's why people were waiting for it. And to further solidify what I was saying, Tay, um, the MPDs for Spider-Man Miles Morales was weird because it fell off the cliff of the top 10, right? And then it climbed back up. And then it
hmm
fell off a little, and then it climbed up again. It's like, what game do you know is climbing it months later? So you already know that people was thirsty for this game. So I think those sales that it got is legitimate. They're not
Oh yeah.
bundles. I think it's legitimate. Some of it probably is,
Yeah.
but it's
And
it's
then and then some of the people probably just got tired of waiting to find a fucking PS5 and they just bought it on PS4.
well. It says
hmm
it says what version it is.
Oh, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it tells you.
And it really wasn't a lot of PS4 versions that people were really like Larry said they're looking for the PS5 version. They want the best version of it. Just like people will sit there and get a brand new fucking phone, and all that it does better is a megapixel
Oh yeah.
in a second
Fucking
faster.
iPhone, you
A half a second faster.
fucking iPhone.
They don't even do anything extra. Like they were like, I need the latest one that looks almost the same. You know what I mean? The funny thing is Sony made an Xperia phone Mark III. I got the Mark II, and people was like, yo, that looks outdated. So fucking Apple can make the same phone for 7 years. It looks the same fucking way, the same fucking cutout, and you don't say nothing to them. I'm fucking done with them. Anyway, fucking the media is so fucking stupid. Not even just as it's a Sony product. The media is so fucking stupid. They're just dumb, just dummies. Can you play PS3 games on a PS5? It depends. I could play PS2 games on PS5. So there you have it, smart ass. So anyway, we're gonna go to our next topic, right? Which is fantasy versus reality. This is a very interesting one. This is one that I wanted to talk about. And let me give you some context with this fantasy versus reality. Here's the thing, right? Everybody kept saying that the PS5 is doing so terribly and that they need Game Pass and that Sony needs to respond and that they need to answer to Game Pass and you know what I mean? Sony needs to talk. They don't got that many games. They're not focused on AA games. Their titles are all the same, you know what I'm saying, looking. Innovation is stifled. And then the MBDs came out and shut everybody the fuck up.
I mean, the it is the beginning of a new generation, so we knew those numbers were going to be magical anyway.
But you have competition and strong competition at that, and you have the media's backing. The media wants Sony to fail so bad. They got such a hard on for that company to fail, and I don't know why either. I don't get it.
Because they
Everything.
want competition, dog. Like it is not competition for the wrong reasons. They want They want the story to be that these motherfuckers are going back and forth. Because like when you have a slobber knocker in a boxing match when motherfuckers is brawling, that's what's exciting. It's not exciting when fucking Floyd Mayweather or Sony is fucking up niggas and they can't touch them, dog. So that's all it is, bro. They want something to write about, so they're gonna keep talking about Game Pass, even though, in my opinion, that shit it's a good value if they're putting out the games, the day and date games, but it hasn't been that. You know what I'm saying? Just recently they got a couple of wins, so I think that's all it is, man. People just want that story, bro. And the media, like you said, the media, they can when they push something, that's the narrative, bro, and that's what the narrative they're trying to push right now, bro. They want to say that Microsoft is kicking their ass. There are some things that I think Sony could do better at,
Of
but in
course.
terms of like their business and the shit they're doing, like I said, I got problems with their communication, but that's it. I don't have any other problems with Sony at all, bro. I just want a little bit more communication. That's just me as a consumer, but everything else is just bullshit, bro. For real.
So explain to me why the reality is like they're trying to paint a picture and people are ignoring the overwhelming narrative that Sony is failing and losing ground. Why is that happening? Do you think?
Oh man, I don't know, man. I'm looking at there's just things that aren't being answered, man, and then they see it's hard, man. It's a lot of different shit. It's not just a little bit of things, man. It's just all the bad news that back to back that's coming out. It has something to do with it.
But
And
what?
I don't like a lot of it. A lot of the news isn't even like solid information. It's just reports. You know what I'm saying? So you got the thing with David Jaffe. You got the store recently closing down. All of that's just bad optics. That's all it is. And a lot of that shit is just that Sony hasn't spoke on it yet, and they haven't reassured anybody, which falls back to the communication part. So it's just optics, man. Optics are like everything right now, especially when you're dealing with social media.
That's my
So I
point.
think
That's my point, though. People are ignoring the
uh,
optics and still buying the PS5. Why is that? Is my
exactly.
question.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Like the Sony already talked about it. You remember what's his motherfucking name? Herman Hulst?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Herman Hulst or the other guy?
Could be depending on
That
what you're
name.
saying. What did he
Not
say?
Herman Hulst, but the other head dude. I forgot his name.
Jim Ryan.
Can't Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan was talking about like, oh, this is like he was talking about like the backlash and the things that they do and how it affects their bottom line. He was saying that like, oh yeah, that bad news we put out didn't even matter. I forgot
Oh,
exactly what it was
you
about, but it
talking
was
about the you
recently.
talking
He was
about the
like, yeah,
releasing
that
game on
like
PC.
yeah, all the other shit when they released it the PC. He was like, man, that didn't affect our bottom line. Like we still doing fucking awesome. Like the people who are talking shit on the internet, like their opinions don't matter, which is why they have the attitude where they don't have to
What's
communicate.
going on, Umar? Thank you for stopping by.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's my thing, right? What about you, Tay? What you got to say about the questions that I asked? Um, uh, Magnificent.
I mean, it's funny, man, because the way I don't know, I feel like the media is what's driving most of this back and forward any fucking way.
Hmm.
And I feel like if a lot of these motherfuckers didn't actually listen to the fucking media and they just see this shit with their eyes, a lot of this talk and all this bullshit wouldn't even be happening. because we already know what the deal is. We know Sony is gonna always fucking win, regardless. It's sold in more fucking countries, and they have the better game. So
So it gives me hope that people are not so dense as I thought that they were. Not to say that I'm so intelligent and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But it gives me hope, even extending outwards, you know what I'm saying? Extending outwards in the world. Because there's a lot of media that pushes an agenda and people are ignoring it. I feel like that's so fascinating to me that they're ignoring it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just overwhelming. People are just saying like Sony is losing. What the fuck is Sony doing? Sony needs to say this. Sony don't need to put their games on PC. Sony needs to do backwards compatibility. And yet we get these NPDs that are going fucking crazy.
Hmm.
The number one, the fastest selling console and money and units. And yet you still get people talking about, well, the reason why it's happening is because.
yeah, it matched.
So what happened?
All right, man. Appreciate it. My bad, fam.
Oh,
Got
no,
me.
no problem. But like the reason why people are, I'm just trying to fucking do my schedule while we're talking. The reason why people are like really, I don't know what's wrong with them. I mean, like you said, the way that I look at it is that they're trying so hard to be cool and knock down the top guy. They do it all the time. I remember a long time ago. You know, Tomb Raider is such a big part of my gaming. You know, kind of
Right.
it carved my taste in gaming. And I remember people used to complain about Tomb Raider coming out every year. Another year, another Tomb Raider. It doesn't really do anything new. It's the same game with a new skin. You know how many games does that same fucking thing? Like fucking
Oh yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 3 and 4 was almost it was the same, but with a better soundtrack. What
yeah. That's the
difference
only
was it?
thing that really changed. The soundtrack.
In a location, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess because even when you buy properties in Grand Theft Auto Vice City, it was like okay, so you're buying properties, right? But you couldn't really do anything with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, own it.
So you just own it and
It's
keep it
already
moving.
furnished.
Couldn't do
It's just like
anything in it.
five. You can't really do anything in five. You buy them.
Right, right. Now going from 4 to 5, there was a lot of different. There was a lot of changes in that, but it still makes me think. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so funny. Like the media is so crazy to me. Like when I see the media and what they do and how they paint a fucking picture, it's just very funny to me. And I don't know why they're doing it, but regardless of the matter, they are wrong. I mean, what do you think that Sony should do in the future to eat? You know,
The
to
only
just
thing
in
I
general, what are they doing
the
wrong?
only thing the only thing I can see that Sony needs to do, they actually need to talk a lot more than we do now. Not not necessarily like how Microsoft does it, but
Hmm.
they just need to keep their fan base in check with upcoming events like that and actually talk to.
How often do you think they should talk?
I would say at least once or twice a quarter.
They do though.
No, not necessarily.
They do. They talk every couple of months. They have that
No,
state. They have that state
no,
of play though.
no. That's
That's what I'm saying.
that. Nah, nah. Cause
La
no,
la
no,
la
no,
la
no.
la.
What I'm saying is, no, no. They really don't. They
But
show
they do
real and
communicate. What do you mean
they show
talking?
real.
What do you mean talking?
They actually need to like when they see a mass hysteria about the state of certain games and stuff, they do need to come out and say something.
They used to. I don't know if you remember that.
Like like
They used
like
to address rumors, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why they don't
they
do it
used to,
now. Because they would say
and
it'd be a
that was
rumor. They'd
when
be like
that yeah,
they'll
that's
say
when Sean Layton was in office.
they'll say some
When
shit
Sean
like
Layton was in office,
we
he'll
don't
squash that
comment
shit
on
quick.
rumors and speculations and shit. And usually when they
Yeah,
say that, it was probably true. So I guess people were calling their fucking bluff on that one. So they was like, I ain't saying shit actually. But maybe I mean this is cut. Y'all figuring shit out. Umar says some shit that's interesting too. He says that the media was harping on the CMOS battery thing. What do you gotta say about that shit, Tay?
You know what I found out
What you find out?
after we talked about it on the roundtable?
What's up?
None of Microsoft's consoles has that battery issue. They don't have battery.
Hmm.
The CMOS battery isn't it replaceable, bro?
It is,
It
but
is, but if they shut down the store, it
Mm-hmm.
can't sync with the time, so it'll just render that console useless.
Oh, okay,
It'll be
that's
a
what the
brick.
concern was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
here's the thing
So
though, because that's a patch. They can say that we're gonna, and it's probably built into their network. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it is.
So
It
what I'm
is,
what I
and that's
mean is
why
what
it's
I mean is
so.
this: when they send an up, like I remember PlayStation, and I'm not trying to take up for them or anything like that. But when they had
Yeah,
PlayStation Home, right? PlayStation Home was sent a. You had to download the latest patch to kill it. To kill it, it will deactivate PlayStation Home. I mean, when you log in after the servers were down, it will say load the newest patch, and then it will kill it. It will kill it. So I would imagine if they are going to kill PSN, then they're going to say download the latest firmware update to kill the trophy support. And in the process of it killing trophy support, you probably wouldn't have that issue. Since it's still being in use, then I mean it's all updates, yeah. But you need to be connected to the internet to set up the console. That's another thing too. You need to be. What about that, Tay? You got to be connected to the
what I,
internet the first time to set up Xbox. So what's up with that then?
I mean, you have to make the.
I'm sorry.
I
You
mean,
must
now
you must be
both of
talking
them.
on the Xbox. Say that again.
I say you got to be connected to the internet to set up the PlayStation.
No, you don't. That's a lie.
Wouldn't have. I mean, it would run slow if you didn't download
It
that
doesn't.
day
It
one
doesn't
patch.
run slow either. It doesn't run
So
slow
you
either.
mean to tell me you haven't downloaded the day one patch?
That doesn't mean that it runs slow. That means that you lack features. You don't have to
Okay.
Yeah,
download any
So
I
then
patch.
don't know if that's
so
factual
you
or
so
not.
you so you're gonna
We
so
need
since
proof
it's
for
lacking
that.
features, you bought the incomplete system
You
at
keep
five
breaking
hundred
up. Say
dollars.
it again.
I said so you bought we bought incomplete systems at day one.
That's not. It's not income. What you bought a system for is to play games,
Yeah.
and it can play those games
How do you know that though?
because I didn't wasn't connected to the internet when I first got my PS5.
Say what?
I was not connected to the PSN when I got my PS5, and I set up
Do you
everything.
have do you have a video confirming that?
I mean, you could buy another PS5 and
No.
check it out. I don't have a video confirming
No.
it because I didn't think anything of it. The same thing happened with my PS4.
Yeah, but we don't have proof that it requires the internet connection to work properly either. We just know that
Go
there was a
wrong.
day one
So
update.
so
I mean,
what I'm
but
saying that I'm saying
I
that
mean
my
that's the thing though, because
experience is this, right?
nobody has proof
I
because
mean my experience is this.
they normally just fucking set up their fucking internet and then go,
My
and it
experience is
downloads everything in the background.
my experience is
Mhm.
it was not connected to any internet, and I believe we do have proof for big
But
outlets.
I know for a fact that Xbox requires they had people
Yes,
who were having
for the
issues
day
with
one,
that.
for the
But
day one, yeah.
we don't know that
The
that was in the
Xbox One,
article for PlayStation.
The Xbox
Hmm.
One, you needed it. I don't the Series X, you didn't.
You didn't need the internet for that. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't need the internet for the Series X. Did need it for the
They
Xbox
already have videos stating that it does need it though.
for the Series X.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
know we
remember
got
seeing it
videos for
around launch.
the one.
No, it's Series X.
Then how did all these guys their their fucking Xbox when they were reviewing it? Because there was no patches when they were reviewing.
They had review. Remember they had a special copy that wasn't the official release copy of the system. Those Series X weren't the retail version. They were review consoles. That was the funny thing. Like, ooh, what the hell is a review console? Remember people were talking about that?
There was review consoles for the PS5 too. It just didn't have the
Yeah.
features. There was a guy, what's his name? That Mystic dude. He
Hmm.
didn't. He didn't download. He had a PS5 and he didn't upload the things because he wanted to make sure that the because I think they patched out the SSD expansion bay. And what he did was, I don't think he had the main. He didn't have the day one patch, and tried it, and it still kicked. It still refused him to play it. It didn't work. So there's that. I'm reading something online with about the CMOS battery. I know PCs have it, and I know laptops have it. You're telling me there's
Yeah.
no battery
Yeah. There.
in
Yeah.
in the Series X?
Yeah. From what I've seen from the latest view from Tech USA,
Oh, this fat nigga. Spawn
that
Wave.
Microsoft consoles don't have it.
Spawn Wave says we have a PlayStation 4 problem. Since you didn't mention it in the video, I have to ask: does replacing the battery solve the issue? You did mention that it's pretty cheap to get a new one, but assuming that you were implying that replacing it works, would it be nice to have confirmation? So they say replacing the battery after it does solve the issue. Just got to connect
It
to Sony's
does,
server.
but if
No, I know what you're saying.
that down, yeah, it would solve the issue. But if that store is closed, if they close the store out, basically replaced it for nothing. Can't
We
use it
don't know
because
that either. We have
it
Well,
needs
no idea.
well, it still connects to the internet because you can still download the games even if
no
you haven't. Only if you haven't
no
purchased it.
because
If you
it
have the
has to sync.
pre-existing license.
No because it has to sync with the clock that's on that store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we don't know. We
That's why
don't
it's an issue.
know
So
what's
yeah,
going on, Jemima. We don't know
who,
that if they
yeah,
shut down
we
the
have to get more
store.
information about that
That's what
because
I'm
yeah,
saying.
because
Why are
I'm
people
pretty
coming
sure
out
they
out of
thought
nowhere
about
with
that.
that one? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do some.
you had to literally take the battery out because the batteries aren't dead yet. You had to literally take the battery out to test to see if it will work. Because with the battery, they didn't die. You know what I'm saying? So the outrage, selective outrage, I'm seeing too. The Spawn Wave nigga says this: he's replacing the battery just lets the system keep its time in sync when it's unplugged. You would still need to sync it with Sony's server after replacing it. So a decent but not permanent fix to replacing the battery before it goes offline. Okay, so at the very best, the worst situation is that a custom firmware should remove the check. So basically, as of now, there's a check that's looking
Yeah.
for the store. But if they update the system that says stop checking for the store because we don't offer it no more, what are we talking about? The battery
Say that
lasts
again.
for about like 15 years or some shit like that. Let me take a look at that though. Let me see.
As of
Yeah.
today, it's a potential issue, but we don't
It's
know
only
because
it's only
Sony hasn't closed down the store yet. So it's just all just theoretical shit right now.
Boris CMOS. Here's the thing, right? So they say it can last from 2 to 10 years. So they say the CMOS battery gets charged whenever your laptop is plugged in. Only when the laptop is unplugged that the battery loses charge. Most batteries will last from 2 to 10 years from the date of the manufacturer. The more you leave your laptop plugged in, the longer your laptop is plugged in. I'm sorry, let me read that again. I fucked up. The more you leave your laptop plugged in, the longer your battery will last. So I can tell you this. For my PS5, for 4, excuse me. No, excuse me, for my PS3. I got my PS3 in 2012, right?
Yes. Yes.
That one I got in 2012 because I had the original PlayStation 2. I mean, I'm sorry, original PlayStation 3 with the PS2 shit in there, right? It still fucking works.
That's
It's
because the
20.
store is still. That's because the store is
I
still
know what you're saying, but we're
developing it.
talking about how long the battery lasts. I know
Oh
what.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's up, Pug? That's what I'm saying. That's the interesting thing. Jamiah, you should be able to just jump right in.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this because I got my PS3. I got the backwards compatible one.
The
I'm
best
finna
way
check.
to
That
do
shit's
it.
been unplugged for 5 years, bro. I haven't plugged that shit up into a power source for five
No,
years.
but
It's been
I
sitting
think
there.
it's
Like,
different. It's different. It's different for consoles though, because
mhm.
it's easy to change out the C battery in fucking a PC and a laptop. But consoles aren't made for that to actually constantly do it.
Well, I'm reading this too. This is about PC shit. Every computer, which is interesting. They say every computer. So I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how they would fix this. Every computer has a small battery in its motherboard used to provide power to the CMOS on the computer. The CMOS is
yeah,
a complementary metal oxide semiconductor chip on the computer that remembers everything like the disk drive, the time, the date, etc. So you don't want to have a CMOS battery failure. The CMOS battery always provides power to the CMOS chip whenever your computer is off to save all of its settings. So it is very important at the time of the booting of your computer in other tasks. Now they're talking about the CMOS battery failure. The CMOS battery failure is a small battery fitted onto the motherboard of your computer. It has a life around 5 years. You need to use the computer regularly to extend the life of the CMOS battery. It must be a different type
yes.
of
But
battery.
when
The computer
yeah,
supply
it
increases.
is because. But then you also have to think about when are they going to shut the internet when after this when are they ever going to shut the internet down, right? Or when are in this case for console, since we don't use on internet regularly unless we the fucking store, right?
Right?
If that console is if that CMOS battery is supposed to get like regular updates from the it's supposed to sync with that store, right? If you close that store down, when you actually do replace that battery in there when it needs to, how is it going to work? Because it has to sync with that.
My argument, right?
That's why it's different.
My argument is this. You said that the Xbox Series consoles don't have batteries, and they're saying,
That's what I found out today.
well,
It
I
doesn't.
think that's a lie.
For what I said, that's what it doesn't.
Where's the proof of that?
He said he had
He
a
said, did he show?
no, no, no. He didn't do
I
his
need
himself,
to.
but
What
there
you
was
say?
somebody that opened up that shit and did it.
Okay. Did you see the proof?
I didn't finish watching the video.
You didn't finish watching it. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. From what I'm reading about CMOS batteries, right? It is possible that Microsoft doesn't even use a battery per se, because when you plug out that
Yeah,
console, right? The fucking for 24 hours, you are able to use what was that again? The fucking the thing that saves your state, the game state.
cloud.
No, no, the game state, not the game storage. What the fuck you call it? Quick resume. If you plug out your
Okay.
console, it will remember where you're at for
Yes.
24 hours.
Yes.
If they weren't using a battery, why limit 24 hours then? That means to me that whatever charge that they have, it's some sort of battery.
I mean, that just means they're not using a battery. They're just using it
How?
off the
But it's
actual
it's
power
on.
supply
But
that's on
you
the
need
console.
power for it to remember things. You need power to remember
They're
something.
just yes. If look, you got to understand, if it's plugged in the wall, it's getting power.
I said plugged out of the wall.
Huh?
You are hearing me accurately. When it's plugged out of the wall,
Not plugged in.
if it's not plugged in, it will remember the state of your game via quick resume for about 24 hours. Explain to me without a battery, how is that working?
The power supply that's fucking console.
The power supply of the console.
Yes.
What power supply do you
It's the
know
same thing. The same thing with the fucking PlayStation.
for 24 hours?
I mean, it's the same thing with any fucking
You see,
electronic
your
device.
shit's
No,
falling
you got
apart. That's
no,
what's
cause you
happening here.
no, it's not. It's
Your
not.
shit's falling
Because
clean
if
apart,
you
man. It's
if, no
falling
no
off,
no no
nigga.
no
It's
no
falling
listen
off the bone, off the bone.
listen.
Listen.
I don't know it for certain if it does or not. I just said what I've heard from looking at
Oh, no, no,
review text
la
or
la
video.
la la la. Don't backpedal now.
Uh,
La la la
How?
la la.
How? How? I'm
Da,
saying
da,
the
da,
same
da, da,
shit.
da, da.
I'm saying the same shit.
Da,
You
da, da, da,
goddamn
da, da. I
pony.
know what me. When I got my, you see how that Indian fucking brush off.
It's just like your
What's
fucking
good,
cell
Lionel?
phone. It's just like your fucking cell phone.
La 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 la.
Or
The
your
cell phone has a
fucking
battery
TV.
in it. What you mean?
Even if you unplug your fucking TV, right? There's still some power supply. There's still power into that TV until after a short amount of time.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
These
Why is it so
people,
hard for you to
these,
understand that with the Xbox, if that's what it is?
Killer Tay, you will instantly drain whatever power that's stored in there. What you call a capacitor is what you're referring to. If you try to turn on the TV, right? When it's off, whatever the capacitor's energy is storing, it will suck up the energy from there, and then it will permanently turn off. They've even done that, trying to turn on the console when it was off, and it still remembered the state.
You're trying to make a point with quick resume, which has nothing to do with quick resume. Is not doesn't have to sync with the store.
We're not talking about the store. We're talking about the battery that's supposedly not in the Series X. Now, Lionel, they claim that there's no CMOS battery in the Series X. Someone said that they found it. What I am under the impression is that if they don't have a battery, then they're using capacitors. And that the capacitor will eventually, the energy will diminish from there. And if they're using a capacitor, capacitors run out too. That's what I'm reading, right? That's what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the store itself, that is a quick fucking update fix. When they are about to shut down the stores, right? I bet you Sony is like, what the fuck is wrong with these fucking people? What is wrong with them? Who just opens the console and takes it out to be concerned about something?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is this a ongoing issue? Like, is this an issue, or is this like a potential issue? Because we're talking about some what ifs right now.
It is a whole bunch of what ifs.
Yeah, it's like what is actually happening. I can understand the concern for it, but like it's like widespread news right now. Oh my god, guys, we're gonna lose our games. Like Sony hasn't. The store isn't closed yet, and there may be plans for a patch. Like we don't know.
There's only one way to find out.
And it's
and Sony don't answer questions, which was my problem.
It's the only way to find out, Josh.
You know,
unplug your PS5 and take that shit apart and find out if it's true or not.
We're not.
I mean, it's just that simple.
We're not. No, the biggest problem is the checking of the store, and that could be solved when they release a patch.
That's the problem that everybody was talking about.
When they release when they release a patch, when they're about to go offline, if you so-called quote unquote use your console so much 15 years after the fact, right? If you so-called use your console, then you don't have any fucking problem with uploading the fucking patch to stop the store from looking for it. Yes, you will lose trophy support, and then that's the end of it. All of this is a whole if. The only reason why this was brought to light, which is still ridiculous.
Are they sending a patch?
They sent a patch for PlayStation Home. That's the only thing that we have, and we don't know. It's either a yes or no. So why be even concerned at all? Is my problem. The only reason why this came up is because people talk about game preservation. I can't believe they're shutting down the store so early. Why are they shutting down the store 15 years later? I don't get it. Why are they shutting down the Vita store 10 years later? Bitch, you didn't even have a fucking Vita. What you talking about? What are you talking about? I can't deal
I
with
mean,
this is fake outrage. This is
hey
what this is.
man, we'll see come June.
June, the store is not going down. I mean, I'm sorry, the PlayStation port is not going down. What
They're
is going
closing.
down is the store.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The,
They said that it needs to sync with that store.
no,
But
it
if the
does
store
not
is
need to
closing,
sync with
there's
the
nothing to
store. It
sync.
does not. It doesn't.
That's what they said.
You
That's what they
still can
say.
get
I'm just
trophies.
telling you
You
what they say.
still can get. No, they're wrong. You still can get trophy support. If you're going to say something, say it right. You still
Maybe it
can
just needs
get
to sync with the
trophies.
network, bro. Or why would it need to sync with the store? The network has the time, all of those things, the
The,
licenses.
the
Why
thing
would it need
is,
the
if
store
you the
to
thing
sync?
is, if you decide to pick up a game that is disc based, right after the store is closed, it will still look for the network. You can't shut down your YouTube
No,
channel, man.
we
What are you
talking
talking
about. We
about?
talking. We talking about. We're not talking about the physical.
You keep cutting out,
We're
man.
talking about the digital. I
It
said
doesn't
we're
matter.
not talking about the physical. We're
For the
talking about the
PS for the
digital.
PS4, it is affecting digital and physical. For the PS3 is
For the
only
PS4.
for the PS4. For the PS3
Okay.
is only affecting the digital.
I got a lot of digital shit on PS3.
But the whole thing
I
is
want my
this.
shit
The whole thing
forever.
is this. For trophy support, it will look for the fucking PlayStation Network. I am curious though, right? Because I think
Yeah.
it's one of those situations where it needs to find a complete circuit, and when you take off the CMOS battery, you're leaving that circuit open, which is giving an error message. So
And there your brick.
I think putting anything in there that will complete the circuit, whether it's a wad of aluminum foil or any kind of soldering, will solve the whole situation. My PSP, by the way, when a battery with my old PSP, when it loses power,
Yeah, the one that looks like it had the mini discs.
yeah, when it loses power, it the time just resets, and you have to fix the time on your own or look or pull it from online.
Yeah, but that store is still open.
They don't have a store.
It's the same store.
They don't have a store. There is no trophy support.
It's only a mini disc.
You don't have to have a trophy support to have a store.
What are you talking about?
I don't think the original
Still.
PSP took digital games, did it?
They did for PSP Go, but you had to go
But
to a
the one that you have, does it take
Oh my
does
no.
it take digital games?
Mine is the UMD. I could put stuff on
Yeah.
the storage, their proprietary storage, but the PSP Go was literally just digital, but it was never a actual store. It took you to the website, and that's what shut
that's
it
the
down.
store.
Yeah, but it wasn't a native app, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was using the browser.
They just used a random browser. So when they cut that
Yeah,
support from PSP, the way that you would get the stuff digitally was to download it onto your computer, and then you could transfer it over to your PlayStation portable. But you didn't have that particular
got it.
issue. So it's just wild to me. It's all the way wild that this is even being we're discussing this shit. People have moved on so hardcore from the PlayStation 4 3, like so hardcore. There's numbers and statistics that proves that they moved on. You know what I'm saying? It's so, to me, it's like, get over it. Like, I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered with the shit that's going on. Too
You
much
have to.
fucking,
You
huh?
have to. You have to. It's a part
it
of
is
nature.
it is some good shit to talk about. I just kind of wish,
Yeah.
like, I'll say this for everybody that's currently in the chat now. What is going on here is that I like to talk about the state of the industry itself, not like the stupid ass news. So I'll give you a recap as to what we were talking about before we end the stream. And if you want to go back, you can go back. It was a really interesting discussion. The ex developer at Ben Studios kind of went over because they lied about this shit too. By the way, they fucking straight up lied. These news people, publications stated that Sony cares. They said that John, which is the ex Ben developer, said that Sony cared about review scores more than they cared about the sales for the game, and that was not factual. He used Disney, for instance. He basically stated, "Listen, you don't want to tarnish your brand, so you don't want to make a product that looks like shit in terms of reception. Kind of there's a balancing act you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he ended up stating. Now, the funny thing about this shit, which is like, what the fuck, man? These people are so irritating to me. Um, we went over. It's kind of dangerous to rely on reception for your game sales. That's big and that's dangerous. That's not good. And how and because you look at Cyberpunk got awards, and it did big because of the false reviews. So I'm hoping Sony doesn't go down that direction. I hope, with social media and just being, virtuous and doing things to cater to people, SJW type people, so they can give your game a good score. So for instance, Days Gone got reviewed poorly. For one of the reasons was because it was like a redneck game. Oh, he looked at his wife's ass. Oh, he's a gruff white guy. And they docked the game because of that, as well as the bugs. That shit is not fair. So you kind of leave people into making games that are chasing the whole social justice warrior bullshit. The second thing that we were talking about is fantasy versus reality. There was the whole crazy ass narrative that Sony is doing so poorly. Sony doesn't have an answer to Game Pass. Sony is just caring about AAA games. They don't care about AA games or indie games, which the funny thing is, every motherfucking person that was watching, including myself, that was watching State of Play, every time they showed the indie game, I'm like, get this shit out of here. I did not buy a $500 console to play a fucking $2 game. Get this shit out of here. I'm not doing it.
That's my mean time in between time, sir. You talking about?
Now you beat your meat in your me time. Get the fuck up. So my whole thing was this. I was like, the whole narrative was so crazy. Oh, I see what you're saying, Puff. It was so crazy with this narrative about how poorly Sony was doing, and turned out that Sony literally is the fastest selling console, units and money wise. Miles Morales ended up outselling in a year and not being released at the same time, outselling Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. And it supposedly was a DLC. So the reason why I called it reality versus fantasy, it's like, to me, people were painting a whole bunch of crazy pictures. They were painting The Last of Us was the best-selling game of all time. Ghost of Tsushima was a new IP, was one of the best-selling games of all time. Miles Morales was just DLC. It wasn't going to sell well because he's black. You know what I'm saying? It was cross-gen, so nobody wanted that shit. PS5 is doing terrible because it's a big console. It's doing terrible because it doesn't have Game Pass. The games are $70, etc., etc. And the truth is completely different from all of those narratives. All of those narratives are completely opposite, which is, to me, it's crazy to me. It's insane. It's like, why even make the narrative if it's not going to be the truth? Are you trying so hard to make it true? Is that what's going on? Miles Morales will continue to have long legs. Long, sexy legs, might I add. Chocolate legs. But, it's funny, though. It really is funny. And I find it when I look at this shit, it's like, that's very, very interesting to me. That's very interesting. Because I thought for sure that if people see things enough, then they will start believing it. But I guess people are not that stupid either. People want what they want. That's what it boils down to. People complain about Apple and not being innovative all the time, but it continues to be the biggest selling cell phone of all time. People complain about Call of Duty every year, that it doesn't do anything different, right? And that continues to be the best game of all time. People complain that, oh, microtransactions, that's all this game cares, but yet you buy it still, or whoever's buying this shit continues to be the top selling piece of digital data of all time. The narrative is always fucking different. It's so crazy to me. It's insane. It's just insane. That's some of the things that you should be thinking about. You really should. You should really think about that shit. Well, we are going to end it here. We've spoken enough about these two subjects. We totally exhausted it. Thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button so this video can be can percolate at the top.
Percolate.
Gyrate.
Nah, I mean.
He forgot to say one more quote.
What's that?
iPhone is the top selling cell phone out there for a long time. But that shit is trash. That shit is trash. And it's trash and it's trash. It need to be in a dumpster, set on fire with acid and gasoline twice.
Acid. I sold the iPhone today. I was like, listen, you say your husband only uses flip phones? Yeah, because he's 67 years old. He don't got time for all that. I said, oh, word. I said, take this iPhone, though. It's easy. You think he'll be able to use it? In my head, I'm like, I don't fucking know. But I told her, I said, listen, the iPhones are so, I had to put on my white voice. I was like, the iPhones are so easy to use. It's just icons.
He's gonna hate it.
Huh?
He's gonna fucking hate that phone, bro.
He's gonna hate that.
How
do you call? I don't give a fuck. Give me your money. Give me your money.
Shit out of that lady because of you.
I don't give a fuck. She liked my chocolate ass voice. That's what it was. You know, she was white. She was fantasizing about that shit. He probably glistening in the dark. You can see the shades of his skin in the moonlight all over his abs.
Oh,
Jesus.
Like, remember that? Cocaine?
Remember that? Cocaine? Yo, wait. Were you there? Were you there? Were you there, Lawrence?
What's up?
Were you there when we were talking about the cocaine?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
All right, we gotta talk about that shit off the air before I get offline. I don't think I said that shit on the air. That shit was so ridiculous.
Nah, it was off the air.
It was off the air.
We was just talking. We was in bullshit.
I don't that shit was outrageous. I don't know who I was talking to. It was probably Nelson. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up. I really do appreciate it because today I was, I don't know. You know, it's hard to keep shit going. You know what I mean? Motivation, but sometimes you gotta put on your blinders. Like, this is a small channel. You just gotta put on your blinders. Sometimes there's things that disappoint you, and you're like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta.
That was Lawrence.
That's how I was looking at. He made me stop. He made me stop, like, right in the middle of it. But anyway, take care, guys. Be safe.
Yo, y'all be easy.
Nope, I haven't played the Resident Evil demo yet. I think it's already came out, right?
Yeah.
Did you play it, Lawrence?
Nah. I'm about to download that, though.
You know, you
Just
better.
Came out.